here on the Patrick Regan Show. Cutting that just a little short because this segment's usually kind of short, and I've got a little bit to get to here. So, and we're here on the Libertarian Lighthouse Radio Network and News Talk 98.7 WOKI. This story is out of Wisconsin. The president of our Wisconsin animal shelter is furious after the state Department of Natural Resources raided the facility with armed agents. They detained volunteer workers and killed a baby deer named Giggles. I'm furious, is what Cindy Schultz, the president of the Society of St. Francis in Kenosha, Wisconsin, said. We're a no-kill shelter, and they killed her. They killed Giggles, and she's furious. She also said an Illinois family found a baby fawn that had been abandoned by her mother. The family brought the deer to the Wisconsin no-kill shelter, where staff members nicknamed the deer Giggles. Now, don't ask me how that's a good name for a deer. Maybe it laughed a lot. I don't know. But anyway, the animal law in Wisconsin restricts unlicensed residents and shelters from possessing any wildlife animals. The state of Wisconsin does not rehabilitate deer, so if they find an abandoned fawn, their creature is left to die. The no-kill shelter was illegally housing the fawn until it could be transferred to an animals reserve in Illinois. However, the day before it was supposed to be moved, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources raided the shelter. According to a state affidavit, the DNR had been conducting aerial and ground surveillance in advance of the raid, searching for a, quote, illegally held live captive white-tailed deer. I don't know. It sounds pretty sketchy. I'm glad those guys were taking precautions and watching that place before running in. Cindy Schultz said, we didn't know they were doing surveillance. 5 days before the raid, a DNR agent was hiding in the woods by our shelter, watching this deer walk in and out of the barn. Agents rounded up the shelter's 9 staff members and detained them for nearly 3 hours as they searched for the fawn. And it took them 3 hours to find a fawn in a no-kill shelter. So they shut down our shelter and wouldn't let anybody leave, Schultz said. Nobody was allowed to use their phones. They were under armed guard. One of the staff members tried to take photos of the raid, but one of the deputy sheriffs confiscated a cell phone and deleted all the pictures. Well, there's a lawsuit. Officer just violated that person's Fourth Amendment rights. To add to the seriousness of crimes being committed at this shelter, really it was probably a front for Al-Qaeda. While the agents were on the property, they discovered, of all things, a Canadian goose that was resting next to a pond on the property. The goose had been living there for 8 years, Schultz said, but they grabbed it and said we couldn't have that on the property either. But, hey, at least they didn't kill the goose. Now, being a rapidly growing radio show, we frequently get stuff sent to us on the slide, little things sneaked out and sent to us so we can play them. And this is one of those instances. Now, here is some audio we got from this very raid.
Ready to go hunting, Carmen? Yeah. My Uncle Jimbo says we gotta get up there early. Right, Uncle Jimbo?
That's right, Stanley. Animals are much easier to shoot in the morning. You see, boys, the Democrats have passed a lot of laws trying to stop us from hunting. They say we can't shoot certain animals anymore unless they're posing an immediate threat. Therefore, before we shoot something, we have to say, it's coming right for us. Oh, it's a deer. It's coming right for us! Did you see that? I was imperiled by that ferocious charging buck.
Wow, that really makes me shudder to think about how dangerous this mission was. Trying to recover and kill this crazy rabid fawn terrorizing the state of Wisconsin. Now, we also received a statement from the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources.
We have to kill animals or else they'll die. Coming up next, we're going to drop some napalm on an unsuspecting family of beavers and also try to thin out the numbers of some endangered species.
So, there you go. Clearly, the public was protected and served by exterminating this fawn before it could become a menace to the state of Wisconsin. Yeah, it's just a good thing they could put it down before this terrorist organization fronting as a no-kill animal shelter could export their terror to that Illinois animal reserve. You know, it's truly, truly a scary world we're living in. I know I feel much better knowing the agents for the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. I feel better they're on the job and protecting their citizens from aggressive and harmful wildlife such as this fawn. So I thought everyone would enjoy listening to that this week. And of course, we'll throw a little shout out, a little credit to South Park for those clips there. All right. We're coming up on the end of the show here, end of the hour here on the Patrick Riggins Show. And you're listening to one of the fastest growing radio shows on the dial and one of the most rapidly growing show on the Libertarian Lighthouse Radio Network. And you can catch us here locally each week on News Talk 98.7 WOKI. If you want more information about the show, you can pop over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Patrick Riggins Show, facebook.com/Patrick Riggins Show, and be sure and hit that like button so you'll be kept updated as to the goings on here on the show. You can also go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Patrick Riggins Show. And that's where all of our archive shows are, along with this show later on today. And you can also email us, patrickriggins@gmail.com. patrickriggins@gmail.com. Be sure and, give the little NSA a little wave there when you email us. Thank you again for listening. And be sure and join me next Saturday afternoon at 4, where we'll be fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.